I had never ever designed a rollator before. It could be so much fun. They were like, why doing this way? Why?
It's our mission to make sure that everyone is able to live an active life without compromising on aesthetics.
My name is Berggreen. I started By Acre 5 years ago, together with Susanne Nørmark.
We design and produce rollators
for people that are challenged on their mobility in any age span.
We're a team of 14 people.
Located in the outskirts of Copenhagen, but are working globally now.
When I first met Anders, he told me how he got into rollators. He has a background designing and producing baby strollers. One day he was at a fair, a trade show, and a person approached him.
He was actually a CEO of a quite big rollator company. I've been looking at what you do it completely different than anybody else here. Wouldn't you like to design a rollator for us? And I said, no, I would never do that. And he said, no, but take my business card.
Then you start to notice it. Everywhere you walk, you see people using rollators, you start to notice, is this rollator different than the other rollators?
One day here in Copenhagen, I passed by a very tall building, high entrance with a lot of stairs, and there was a sign saying Dance Institute. Well, below the sign, there was 2 rollators locked with a bicycle lock. And suddenly I understood that it was a mobility device for these 2 people. They have a challenge with their knee, or they had a challenge with their hip, or they had a challenge with whatever, but they do not see themselves as patients. So suddenly I changed the perception of the rollators completely, and I found the business card and called the guy and said, I would really like to design a rollator. It could be so much fun. We had access to, I would almost say, unlimited knowledge about the industry, about rollators in general, and I had never ever designed a rollator before. We were not biased by that we already had made a design, so we had a complete clean slate to work with. We started building up a small team. They really loved what we did, and we even had a contract that we were supposed to deliver 35,000 rollators over the first years. So it was a dream story.
Then at one point, this partner had a change in ownership.
And the new management was, we couldn't work with them. They were like, but this is not a classic rollator. This is not what it looks like normally. This is not what it used to be. Why doing this way? Why? They didn't understand it when we were talking about users and not patients. And when you design for a patient, it has to be practical, it has to be cheap, but all the aesthetics, all the beauty is taken out of the equation. They're not interested in all this. There's not a sense of urgency, there's not a sense of change. They simply didn't care. It was 2 different languages, 2 different mindsets. So it was very, very easy to see that it was a clash.
Coming from the consulting world, I was at a point in my life where I was looking to be part of something new. What is it like to actually build something from the ground?
Susanne came on board just before we made the decision to go on our own. I don't think we would have gone on our own if she was not my partner. Then it would have been way too big a decision.
We were not worried that our product would be rejected by the customer, so we felt very confident that we had the right product. But it was nerve-wracking for sure. Our targets for the sales for that year and the next year, they were not going to be met. So of course that was a big disappointment. We need to go back to the bank. We need to go out, find the partners. We need to convince them, how much time is that going to take? It was a struggle. But we had to get back on the horse. What I did not imagine I would be doing when I joined this startup was that I would be part of the assembly team at some point. And I think for at least several hundreds of relators, I have been assembling the handles.
The smartest investment that we did. Let's get it in, get all the parts here to Denmark, start assembling it so we could find out design flaws and get to know the product in detail. We have manufactured, I think, around 1,000 or maybe 2,000 rollators, but we learned so much about it, so we knew exactly what we wanted. Then we could move the manufacturing, we could outsource it and go up in real mass production.
To us, a rollator is a bike, it's a car, it's a mode of transportation. And we know from looking at those industries, they understand that customers want a choice. They want a choice of design, size, color. In the rollator industry, you did not have that choice. There seems to have been an acceptance of, that's just how it was. It has always been like that.
The whole industry, if you go down to the store, they were like, no way, why should we have a new rollator like that? And why do you forward face your handles? Or why did you make it in that shape? No thanks.
We said to the retailers, why don't you try it out? We can leave 1 or 2 at your store. You pay for it if you sell it, or we take it back. But make sure that the customers who are interested in it, they take a walk, they try to fold it and lift it, so they really get a feel for how it's different. It worked. We heard it for the first 3 months of a launch, and then we never heard that argument again. We're not going to stop at rollators. What we did in the rollators market, we can do in many other markets.
Aesthetics plus functionality. If you can combine those two things and make them work together, then you have a good design.
Many of our customers, they like our products so much that they say, please, can you also add some design to this and this mobility product? When we get that confirmation, when people tell us that this is correct, you're right, it makes us want to, continue, do more of this. It works.